I chose Western in part because I thought it was kind of a unique story. It has obviously a dark edge to it, but I thought that it would provide a sort of a different window, a different angle on the Western genre in a way. And I also felt that it would be a good challenge for me to try Western because I actually didn't grow up watching so many Westerns, and it was so much fun, and the characters were great, and it was meant to be a sort of a teaser for a feature length.
Because the production values in this film are really, really good. So I mean, the question on everyone's mind is how much money did you have to spend to make a movie like this? Because it looked very, very real.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that in film knows, like doing a period piece is much more expensive and much more challenging, and doing a Western is even more expensive and even more challenging. And the price just goes, as soon as you say Western, the price just goes way up. That's why it's so hard to make Western now, because all the outfits, you can't just buy a Western period piece. You have to make them worn. You have to design each, even for the extras, it has to be designed in a certain way. Yeah, and so budget was a little high. It was about $30,000.
That's not high.
But not high for what we got. And we shot it in 5 days. That whole thing was shot in 5 days.
Thank you.
The Make a Film Foundation grants film wishes to kids who have serious or life-threatening medical conditions. So there's really, in essence, a couple of filmmakers. So we consider the child the filmmaker, really, because we get a director to facilitate their vision. So the director on this film was Patricia Cardoso, but we worked for probably a couple of years with the child to get his vision. He knew what story he wanted to tell, and we teamed him with a mentor, who one of the writers for Bridge to Terabithia, and Rodrigo Garcia also mentored him in writing.
So
yes, sir.
The writer basically was the child that helped with the mentor to write the script.
Yes, he wrote it. He was actually 11 when he came up with the story, and then we basically transcribed it. He told it to us, and we would say, okay, so does the monster say anything else? Do the parents say anything else? Do you want to, tell a funny story about yourself? You want them to, so we would kind of coach him through the process, but it was all his words and everything.
In that film, was the child and all of the actors, were those real people, or were they actors?
Well, it was the real child, and then all of the voices were a great deal of the voices, except for Lord Vader. Those were all his family members. He has like 3 brothers and sisters, and his father played the one with the Australian accent, and his mom played the little mom monster, the nice one. So there was all like his friends and family who voiced the characters.
Yes.
With the Western, where did you get the saloon?
We actually shot the entire film on a place called the White Horse Ranch, which is in Landers, California. It's I have a location manager who just helped research hundreds of locations, and we found this one location where this guy from Germany came, relocated in the middle of the desert, and built a town that he wanted people to come and shoot in. And we went there with a production designer, and we kind of built a little bit more and set designed it, but it was pretty much there, and the saloon was the selling point. The saloon was there.
Yes?
On the Western, do you have any interesting stories? Obviously, you filmed it in 5 days, so it was very quick. You're also dealing with a lot of like natural light and stuff like that, so you're under time constraints, when the sun's going to go down and stuff like that.
We had a lot of pre-production time. Even though we shot in 5 days, we planned, all the color palettes were planned, everything that was purchased that fit into the scheme of the whole piece, and how the place was designed was in mind with the sun path, where the sun would be at a certain time. So we really worked hard to fit it in 5 days. It was actually supposed to be 6 or 7, but we had to shrink it to 5, and somehow we made it. So I had an assistant director who helped with organizing the schedule and arranging it around extras, and so we had 40 extras. Many of them were part of this thing called the Pioneer Town Posse. And so they do performances or reenactments, and they came and they helped us, and a lot of them did it for, I guess, very little. But yeah, we scheduled it so that we had, I think it was maybe only 2 days with that many people. Yeah. And horses.
I think we're going to wrap it up now. We would love to see you again on the 18th. And once again, I would like to thank the great park